A big thing with board games is how difficult a game is, and also the weight of the game. The heavier the weight of the game, supposedly the harder it is. More complex, more difficult. So I have decided in this video to challenge to see what is the heaviest game is in my collection. I'm going to rank them here for you, and we'll do this in a second. First, we're going to start with Mage Knight. Mage Knight is always near the top of the solo 100, 200 of the year. It's complex. It is hard. I can't get my mind wrapped around at halftime. So let's go ahead and check out the weight of this game. I've grabbed my scale. I've got it ready to go. All right, here we go. £4.6 pounds. Not a great start for this. I mean, you would think Mage Knight would be a lot harder than that, a lot bigger than that. It is a hefty box, so 4.6, I mean, that's not as heavy as I thought it would be. So, I mean, I don't know why everyone's saying it's such a heavy game. So, we'll go from there. All right, next up, I'm going to have another solo game, because that has been known. I love the solos. We have Hostage Negotiator. It is a complete solo game where you're a police officer trying to save people from somebody who's abducted people and holding them hostage. Fun game. If you have a little trauma sometimes, you may not be into it, but I enjoy it, so let's see. 6.4 pounds. I'm doing this over here because I'm doing this all on my own, as always, so it's a whole lot easier if I write everything down and figure it out as we go along. So right now, the heavier game for this challenge is Hostage Negotiator is the heavier game than Mage Knight. Next up, we're going to go with a game. Watch me get up. This is going to be the hardest part of this video, is trying to get all the games, because I have a tight little area that I record in. Sometimes getting things is difficult. So next up we have My Father's Work. Look at this beast. It can take 3 hours to play. It is complex, but how heavy is this game? I'm gonna have to do that a lot. 8.9. 8.9 pounds. This is a beast of a game. Look at how big. There are so many parts and components. This thing is chock full. It is heavy. It is dense. That's why this bad boy is coming in at 8.9 pounds. So far, the heaviest game in my collection. Next up, we're going to go with a classic. It has many expansions. We are going to go with Scythe. I have been actually attempting to paint my collection. So I have all the minis out over here. If you would like to see. See, there. That's the tractor one. That's the robot mech guy. Tell me what you think. I'm not the best painter. I enjoy painting, though. It's nice and relaxing. Calms me down after I've had a long week. How heavy is this game? 12.7 pounds. This is 2 expansions. This is the one where it increases the extra 2 little people-y groups, and also, as you can see, Rise of Fenris. So, 12.7 pounds. Blowing the living daylights out of My Father's Work. You know what? I bet it could add more weight in there in a bit, because there's a couple expansions. I don't have the metal coins. Also, the paint could add a little bit more and actually bump that up to 12.10. Does that make it 13? Or 12.7, it would be 12.8. All that paint. Next up, we are going to go with But the game that's a little bit easier to grab for me, it is right up here. It's a game I've had for a long time. It is the second of these Stonemaier games to make the list. It is Viticulture. Viticulture is a worker placement game. I love worker placement. You are making wine. You have a vineyard. You have Mama and Papa's vineyard. And you have to improve it and make it better. But how heavy is it? £4.7. For the record, this is a heavier game than Mage Knight. Shocking. Mage Knight is not that heavy. Mage Knight has an expansion I have in it. So that's more. But this has all the Tuscany, doesn't have the metal coins. It could be heavier. Think about that. That is how much more heavier of a game than Mage Knight. Next up, another game that has an expansion. I love me some Heat. Heat is one of my favorite games. It has gone up to the top of the charts. I enjoy racing. I enjoy the pressure luck, the trying to hand management. What is not to like with this? It's got a catch-up mechanic. If you're falling behind, you can still catch up and get close into it. Beautiful, beautiful designs. Adds more. The extra maps are great. But how heavy is Heat? 7.1 pounds. It is now in third place. The third heaviest game in my collection right now is Heat. Of course, right over here, I will show where it is. I am probably wrong, but I believe it is third with my quick math and quick looks. I'm trying to do this in one take without stopping, so we'll see. All right, after Heat, we're going to go with a game that I have a ton of things for. So give me 1 second. I am going to go with Unmatched. Unmatched has a little bit of an advantage, I'll be honest, because this is not all it. As you can see, it has the advantage of extra cases. I may round down just for the cases. I should probably go online and see how heavy these cases actually are, but I'm not going to. So, how heavy? Because you know what? This equals all the boxes. I'm not going to round down. I'm going to give it what it is. Oh my goodness. 18.2 pounds. The monster that is. The miniatures, the boards, the plastic, everything. Unmatched is the heaviest game right now in my collection at 18.2 pounds. Whew. I knew battling is tough, but didn't know it was that difficult. Now you get to see me break things. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Next up, you know what? Let's just go in a row. All in that one row. I'm surprised my bookshelf hasn't broken just from that section alone. Let's go with Dinosaur Island. Again, another game with an expansion. The expansion makes it so much more heavier and more complex. So this is totally liquid. I've got the metal coins. This thing is a beast. This may break the scale. Only 12.8 pounds. It is second heaviest behind Unmatched. I'm a little shocked. I thought this would be heavier. Maybe it's because it's so packly and so condensed, and Unmatched, I've got all the extra little pieces, but honestly, right now, Mage Knight is not looking good. It is getting beaten up. It is the least heavy game we're weighing right now. I may have to get a small game and just see if it can beat it. All right. Next up, we're going top shelf. We're going to go with another heavy hitter. Ark Nova. I've seen people take an hour to teach this. I've attempted to teach it within 20 minutes, and sometimes it's difficult. So let's see how heavy of a game. thought Dinosaur Island actually did break it. 4.8 pounds. It is official. It is 100% official. Mage Knight is not as heavy as Ark Nova. Much heavier game. Shocking to some, but not to me. The weight is everything. Finally, if you've been a fan of my channel, you've probably seen videos and know what I have next. Because it is going to be probably the heaviest game I have. It is a giant box of Wingspan. Yes, the monster that it is. All the expansions, everything to date as this video, I have. I have the fan art. I have everything. Oh, well, I don't have everything. I think there's some eggs out there. The gold eggs I don't have. I should probably get because I like those, but don't have it. Small few things I don't have, but this, look at this bad boy. This is going to be heavy. I'm struggling to pick it up. I broke the scale. 17.1 pounds. Unbelievable. The heaviest game in my collection is Wingspan. I mean, people knock it. It's like, oh, it's a beginner game. Oh, it's like a... No. Proof right here. Heaviness prevails. Nothing is as big as a Wingspan. All right. I feel bad for Mage Knight. Look at that. Mage Knight's all the way down at the bottom. Let's see if we can have a game that's a little heavier than Mage Knight. This is the list that I have right here. That's over top of Wingspan, but we're going to go and try to find a game that at least Mage Knight can beat. Mage Knight's got to beat something. Because I just feel sad. I feel sad for Mage Knight coming in 10th on this list. So we need to find a game that I think it can beat in weight. Let's go with Under Falling Skies. As I drop Beacon Patrol. That'll be another one if I don't make it here. So, Under Falling Skies, this is here to see if it can make Mage Knight feel not so sad. £2.6 pounds. There you have it. We now know the range. Under Falling Skies, not as heavy as Mage Knight, but Mage Knight, not as heavy as everything else in my collection. That barely registered 1 pound. So, tell me what's in your collection that you think is heavier than what I have. Is Mage Knight a top tier game that needs to be thought of a little bit less because it's not as heavy? Let me know. Throw it in the comments. Tell me your heaviest games. Go whale. Get your bathroom scale and just get some use out of it, because you know we're not using it for actual weight. It just sits there. I had to clean this thing off with dust on it because I know none of us are using it. We're board gamers. We sit. I'm fat.